The birthday betrayal. The gift that went missing. The city woke up in glass and gold. Sunlight slid across the marble floors of Malcolm and Ariana's penthouse, catching the edges of framed art and the soft shimmer of the skyline beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. Below them, traffic hummed like a distant river. Above them, nothing but quiet, curated luxury. It was Ariana's birthday. Not just any birthday. The first one she planned to celebrate as a wife. Ariana stood in front of the mirror in their bedroom, fastening a thin diamond necklace around her neck. It had been a gift from Malcolm on their wedding night. Simple, elegant, personal. The matching earrings lay on the vanity beside her, catching the morning light. Malcolm leaned against the doorway, watching her with a soft smile. "You look unreal," he said. Ariana laughed lightly. "You say that every time. Because you keep proving me right." She turned to him, eyes warm. "Do you think your mother will actually show up today without turning it into a performance?" Malcolm hesitated. "My mom loves grand gestures," he said carefully. "Sometimes she forgets whose moment it is." Ariana walked over and rested her hand on his chest. "As long as she remembers I'm your wife, not her competition." He nodded, though something in his eyes flickered, an old tension he hadn't fully named yet. The plan was simple: brunch at a private rooftop lounge, then a quiet dinner with friends. No family drama. No power games. Just peace. Or so they thought. By late morning, the penthouse buzzed with soft movement. The housekeeper finished arranging flowers. The driver confirmed the reservation. Ariana slipped into her silk robe, humming softly as she packed a small clutch. Her car keys lay on the entry table, her new midnight blue luxury SUV parked downstairs, a gift Malcolm had surprised her with weeks earlier. Her jewelry case sat open on the dresser. She paused, choosing which pieces to wear tonight. The diamond set. The gold bracelet her mother had given her. A rare watch she'd bought for herself after her first major promotion. She closed the case, smiled to herself, and headed to the shower. Minutes later, the elevator chimed. Malcolm glanced at his phone. No one was scheduled to arrive yet. Then he heard his mother's voice. "I used my spare key. Don't act like I'm a stranger in my son's home." Veronica stepped into the penthouse like she owned the air, tailored white suit, heels clicking softly on marble, lips curved in a smile that never quite reached her eyes. Malcolm straightened. "Mom, you can't just—" "I came to bring a birthday surprise," Veronica said lightly. "Where's Ariana?" "In the shower." "Perfect," she replied. "Then this will be quick." Veronica walked past him toward the bedroom. Malcolm frowned. "What's quick?" She didn't answer. Inside the bedroom, Veronica went straight to the dresser. She saw the open jewelry case. Her eyes lingered, measuring value, not sentiment. She picked up the diamond set, weighed it in her palm. Then she turned and walked toward the closet. Malcolm followed, unease tightening his chest. "Mom, what are you doing?" Veronica opened the closet door, eyes landing on Ariana's luxury handbags, her shoe collection, the sleek car key fob resting on the shelf. "You two are living too comfortably," Veronica said calmly. "It's time to rebalance." Malcolm stared at her. "Rebalance what?" She slipped the jewelry into her designer tote. "I sold the SUV this morning," she added casually. "And these?" "I'll handle them too." The room went silent. Malcolm's heart dropped into his stomach. "You, what?" Veronica met his eyes, unbothered. "Your wife is getting too comfortable with things she didn't earn." The bathroom door opened. Ariana stepped out, towel wrapped around her hair, smile still on her face. "Malcolm, did your mom just—" She stopped. The jewelry case was empty. Her keys were gone. And Veronica stood there holding her tote like a verdict. Ariana's smile disappeared. "What's happening?" she asked quietly. Veronica smiled. "Happy birthday." The room felt colder after Veronica's words. "Happy birthday." The sentence hung in the air like a slap dressed as a smile. Ariana stared at the empty jewelry case, then at the space on the shelf where her car keys had been. Her mind refused to catch up with what her eyes were seeing. For a moment, she thought this was some twisted joke. A poorly timed prank. She looked at Malcolm. His face had drained of color. "Mom," he said slowly, "tell me you didn't do what you just said." Veronica adjusted the strap of her tote, calm as ever. "I did exactly what needed to be done. That SUV. I sold it back to the dealer." "The jewelry? These things appreciate. It's smarter to liquidate them and put the money somewhere useful." Ariana found her voice. It was quiet, but it cut. "You sold my car." "Yes," Veronica replied. "You're married into this family now. We manage assets responsibly, not emotionally." Ariana laughed once, sharp and unbelieving. "My car is not a family asset. My jewelry is not your property." Veronica tilted her head. "Everything in this house touches my son's finances, which touches my legacy." Malcolm stepped between them. "No," he said. "You crossed a line." Veronica's eyes hardened. "I crossed into responsibility. You two are playing house in a penthouse I helped you access. You think wealth is just comfort. It's leverage." Ariana's chest rose and fell. "You broke into my home with a spare key and stole from me." "Don't be dramatic," Veronica said. "I prevented waste." Malcolm's voice shook. "You stole from my wife." The word wife landed differently this time. Veronica studied him, as if seeing a version of her son she didn't fully recognize. "You're choosing her tone over my intention." "I'm choosing what's right," Malcolm said. Silence stretched. Ariana walked to the dresser and closed the empty jewelry case slowly. Her hands were steady. Her eyes were not. "I trusted you in my home," she said to Veronica. "You didn't just take things. You took safety." Veronica shrugged. "Safety is built by discipline." Ariana met her gaze. "Safety is built by respect." For a moment, no one spoke. Then Ariana turned to Malcolm. "I'm not riding in your car today," she said softly. "I'm not going anywhere until my things are returned." Malcolm nodded without hesitation. "We'll get them back. Now." Veronica lifted a brow. "You're making this bigger than it needs to be." Malcolm pulled out his phone. "No. You made it criminal." Veronica laughed lightly. "You wouldn't call the police on your own mother." "I would call a lawyer," he replied. The laughter faded. Veronica stepped back, recalculating. "You want to embarrass me on her birthday? Fine. I'll have the dealership reverse the sale. The jewelry. I'll return what I haven't already moved." Ariana's stomach dropped. "What do you mean, what you haven't already moved?" Veronica hesitated. "Just a fraction." Malcolm caught it. "Mom." "I made arrangements," she said. "Some of those pieces were already appraised. One has a buyer lined up." Ariana felt something inside her finally crack. "Today was supposed to be about starting a life," she said quietly. "Not proving I deserve the one I already have." Malcolm took her hand. "You don't have to prove anything. Not to anyone." He looked at his mother. "This ends today. You return everything. You hand over receipts. And you give back the spare key. Or we involve legal." Veronica stared at him, pride battling control in her eyes. "You draw blood over jewelry?" she asked. Malcolm didn't blink. "No. Over boundaries." Veronica's lips pressed into a thin line. "Then you've changed," she said. Malcolm nodded. "I had to." The elevator chimed behind them, friends arriving for brunch. Ariana closed her eyes for a moment. Her birthday had turned into a courtroom. The private rooftop lounge glittered in the late morning sun. Crystal glasses caught the light. Soft music drifted between tables. Friends arrived with laughter and wrapped gifts, unaware that upstairs, the birthday had already been broken. Malcolm asked the host to hold their table. "We're running late," he said. It was the truth. Just not the whole one. Back in the penthouse, Veronica sat stiffly on the edge of a chair, her tote placed at her feet like evidence. Malcolm stood by the window, phone pressed to his ear. Ariana leaned against the counter, arms folded, eyes fixed on the marble floor as if it might crack under the weight of everything unsaid. "I want the receipts," Malcolm said into the phone. "Yes. Now." He ended the call and turned to his mother. "The dealership is sending confirmation," he said. "So is the buyer for the jewelry." Veronica's voice was cool. "You're humiliating me." Ariana looked up. "You humiliated me in my own home. On my birthday." Veronica's eyes flicked to her. "Birthdays are sentimental markers. Wealth is permanent. You'll understand when you've built something generational." Ariana let out a breath. "I've built my career. I've built my peace. You walked in and tried to manage me like inventory." Veronica stood. "You married into a dynasty. You don't get to pretend it's a small apartment with shared feelings." Malcolm stepped forward. "This dynasty ends where consent ends." His phone buzzed. He opened the messages. The dealership confirmation showed the SUV had been sold that morning. Paperwork already processed, funds wired to an account under Veronica's holding company. Another message followed, appraisal documents for Ariana's diamond set, with notes from a private buyer. Ariana swallowed hard. "So you planned this?" Veronica didn't deny it. "I protected our liquidity." "You protected your control," Ariana said. The room felt smaller. Malcolm looked at the numbers, then at his mother. "You moved the money into your company account." "Temporarily," Veronica said. "It's easier to manage centrally." Malcolm's jaw tightened. "That's theft." Veronica's voice sharpened. "From who?" "My son. His wife. This family is a unit." Ariana stepped forward. "A unit isn't a leash." For the first time, Veronica looked unsettled. Malcolm dialed again. "Pause the jewelry transfer." "Yes, invoke the buyer's cooling-off clause." "I'll cover any penalty." He hung up. "We'll get your things back," he told Ariana. "All of them." Ariana nodded, but the relief didn't reach her eyes. "It's not just the things." Veronica scoffed. "Then what is it?" Ariana met her gaze. "You don't see me as family. You see me as access." Silence answered her. The elevator chimed again, another arrival downstairs. The party waited. Malcolm looked at Ariana. "We don't have to go." Ariana shook her head. "No. I don't want my birthday to become a hiding place. I want it to become a line." She turned to Veronica. "You will return the spare key today. And after today, you don't enter our home without permission. Ever." Veronica laughed softly. "You're setting rules for me in my son's home?" Malcolm answered before Ariana could. "In our home." Veronica stared at him, truly stared, as if seeing the end of a chapter she had authored for years. "You're choosing her over me," she said quietly. Malcolm didn't raise his voice. "I'm choosing a marriage over manipulation." Veronica picked up her tote. "Then don't expect me to approve what I can't control." Ariana nodded. "We're done needing your approval." They walked toward the elevator together. Behind them, Veronica stood in the penthouse she once navigated freely. The doors slid shut. And for the first time, she was locked out of the story she thought she owned. The rooftop lounge overlooked the city like a private kingdom. Glass railings framed the skyline. White orchids floated in shallow crystal bowls. The air smelled faintly of citrus and expensive perfume. Guests stood in clusters, their laughter polished and easy, the kind that came from people used to comfort. When Ariana and Malcolm stepped out of the elevator, conversations paused for half a second. Then smiles returned. "There's the birthday queen," Danielle called, lifting her glass. Ariana smiled back, graceful and composed. No one in the room could see the storm she had walked through minutes earlier. Her dress shimmered softly under the sunlight, and if her hands trembled, they did so invisibly. Malcolm kept a gentle hand at the small of her back. "You okay?" he murmured. Ariana nodded. "I will be." They moved through the crowd, accepting hugs and gifts.